I should have some background music. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. Man, man. Oh yeah. Alright, now to get a bow going. Shit. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Have a little bowl going. There we go. It says he wants to collab stream, but never sends me a link. I mean, I haven't hit me up about it. With that, I'm just also on a break right now. And usually when I get off work, you tend to be asleep. So, I mean, by the time I usually be like, hey, what's up, a little slight time difference. At least it's only an hour this time instead of 2 or 3 hours like it was back in the day. But, man, oh man. I am groggy as fuck today. Man, these clean shifts have just totally have knocked my ass out for this week. Yeah, for this weekend too. Mostly just because of the constant pressure of having to keep up with this, get this done, blah blah blah, and also it's just all shit. It's at least today was actually all right. That's the ops manager and shit was actually pretty chill and didn't really give much of a list, and even the starter right there was actually a pretty chill day. So I mean, all in all, not bad, but it's at least for me, it's 3 more fucking days of this bullshit. Then I get my little weekend, so that's good. Is it 3 days? Monday, Tuesday, yeah. Ugh, fuck. Would you go over the combined income budget? It would make enough to save $200 a month to cover all expenses. Fuck yeah. That's a good shit. Yeah, I've been thinking about that at least, because I pretty much have one of my friends almost paid off and stuff. So then I want to at least kind of budget, be like, oi, let me know what shows are, so I could just forward it to them and shit. Because there's a couple of shows that I think Rip was going to try to go to. I know there's a show with Judas Priest and then Sabaton's opening for them. And I think just one other band playing. So I want to try to go to that if it's not too late, which if it's Judas Priest, I doubt it. But, just because it would be a fucking stadium type thing. So, should go to a show with us. I mean, I'd be down. I mean, Albuquerque tends to, make its rounds, either that or Santa Fe, when it comes to different bands that are touring. So, Daka just talking to the minds with GMC. Did you just find out? Because I learned about that the other day, and I deadass thought it was bullshit. Then someone linked me, and I was like, oh, okay, that actually happened. But I like how there hasn't even really been any news or any article or anything like that. I just found out earlier. Yeah, and I also kind of like how no one, cares too much. Just like, yeah, there's like an article too, but yeah. It's like, like, because I found out and I just kind of immediately went like, huh? It's like, what? Also, Biden apparently did like some interview today and like straight up was kind of forgot that he was around. And I don't even know why they did it because it's just literally straight up just a fucking glaze sesh. Just being like, oh, what are some great things of that you could think of, like when it comes down to the stuff that you did for your administration and all this sort of shit. And it's like, oh my god. It's like, why are they still trying to kind of ish prop him up a little bit? It's like no one cares about him anymore. Even like in these like speeches and rallies that Kamala's been doing shit, it's just like she'll even mention his ass, being like, it's like no one cares about him anymore. In fact, weirdly enough, I think mentioning him tends to like to hurt the chances a little bit, not by much, but it's just like I don't think people want to be reminded of that. James Vance is weird. I saw some snippets because he also had some interview thing too. I saw snippets of that. The dude is he unironically, I think, is legit kind of a cuck. I got to a point, like I saw a snippet of that shit where it was just straight up like, oh yeah, Trump thinks my wife is beautiful and loves her and this and that, always tries to like, it's trying to basically, raise up my wife, hug her and all this sort of shit. And it's like, Vance, are you a fucking cuck, bro? Are you just letting Trump like, go all up in your wife? Like, what the fuck? Trump wants to prop Biden up. Remember his rant about how Biden's going to somehow do a hostile takeover to save the Democrats. What? Fucking what? Man, having Kamala, be the nominee instead of Biden really fucked with Trump there. It really did. Because before, Biden dropped out, it kind of pretty much looked like it was a mandate, of Trump to win, essentially. But all that just got thrown under the bus now. It's pretty much just been flipped from what it looks like, at least when it comes to that energy and momentum. The meme continues to be missing LMH again. Yeah, I noticed. Though I will say that's at least like for one of the venues, there's like 5 venues. So they're not the last band playing, at least that I'm aware of. But at least for the Space Room, they are. There's also a few bands I've seen that are in the Space Room playing there too. Like there's One Drink and Other Lies. That's a pretty cool, like kind of a psychedelic funk punk band a little bit. The Last Responders are going to be playing there. I think Darker and Vignettes, are going to be playing there too as well. There's a few bands I've seen before in the past that are going to be playing down there. Though for some reason my manager didn't get me Saturday off, so guess he's calling in that day. My wife is beautiful. JD Vance is jealous of my wife, and he has a better chance than Sleepy Joe Brandon always because he wants to bang my wife. Dude, I mean, the Trump, dude, like, he is just generally a fucking weird goober, dude. I mean, I don't like. I remember his answer to like. It's like, so you had a crazy proposal, and he was like, well, yes. He actually got weirdly excited. It's like, oh my god, yay, But at the same time, it's like, but well, look, it's not actually a policy and advocacy that I'm doing there. It's just a thought experiment. Because apparently, Democrats, at least some of them, never said who, just some, just vaguely just throwing shit out there and not backing it up at all. It just basically, was just like straight up full on, just like being like, well, it's a thought experiment and these Democrats, wanted to push it too. There's some of them that, wanted kids to vote. So why not just let the parents, like handle the voting process for them or something? Like, that was pretty much it. I was just like, huh? Ignore calls out the whole week for the show on the coast. I unironically might, to be honest. What? same vein as Mao, Stalin. Dude, you want to know something wild? I've heard Ben Shapiro on the radio in the car on my way to the bar last night, and he was basically saying how, like, it's the same shit, dude. And it's so fucking wild, bro. Dude, they got nothing. So they're basically trying to make Tim Walz sound like a fucking Stalinist or a communist or some shit, which which he literally isn't. But they're trying to paint him at like, so we're going back to the OG like Republican style talking points, like those dirty communists. We're just literally like, back there again because they can't really do the damn trans people and the fuck queers. They can't do that because then they're going to get called out as a bunch of weird freaks. They're recognizing that. So they're going to try to fucking fearmonger about Tim Walz now and Kamala by making it sound like they're fucking far left crazy commies. I literally heard Ben Shapiro the other night on that fucking radio, like straight up says like, well, this basically shows that Kamala is essentially the leftist and has become nothing more than a communist. And I'm just like, bruh. I literally just went, bruh, like the actual fucking insane delusion of this fucking weird little twerp. Like, holy shit. And just of all these fucking Republicans, like, Tim Walz is the type of guy to slap some landlords and give them a titty massage afterwards. I mean, I would guess. I mean, but the thing is, he at least, is somebody that I feel like he would actually, be a little more critical about landlords anyway. They had a doctor picture of Tim hugging Stalin as the cover art for the story. They doctored Lenin's face to look like Tim Walz. Honestly, if they want to do this whole, like, Tim Walz is a communist, they should, like, try to doctor him to look like Khrushchev. Because, I mean, look at Khrushchev and then look at Tim Walz. They actually do kind of have a similar look to him. So honestly, it's like, what's so silly is that they could do it and actually be like, oh, okay. And because then at least it can maybe make sense. But, yeah, Lenin, though. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck? At least I hope there are people who aren't stupid enough to actually buy that because, there's probably some boomer mom on Facebook that, saw that and it's like, see, he hung out with the Stalins. I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I mean, let's just be honest. We know there's at least a few of those fucking weirdos. There's a few of them out there that are just too gullible for it. Too gullible for their own good. As dementia believes OAN. Why am I not shocked? I mean, I'm not really shocked at all, to be honest, especially considering that, I mean, old boomer and conservative fucks who happen to be super, right-wing as shit. And at the same time, listen to a bunch of OAN and also is not detached to reality anyway. Shocker. Let's see if I did this. Okay, cool. I did not. She's a leftist in the Rightoid family. I mean, dude, I'm the same way for the most part. I mean, I would say that, like, yeah, honestly, yeah. I was trying to think, is there like a family member I could think of? And honestly, the only one would, funny enough, be my aunt. But even then, she's not like a leftist. She's just kind of like a, like just mostly, like a liberal progressive Democrat. But not, I wouldn't necessarily say falling like leftist though. So, yeah, I mean, out of especially my immediate family, I'm definitely the lefty in the family. I'm the black sheep. But I'm okay with that though. Show us how we could debunk right-wing nonsense to our aunt's face. Well, it ain't that hard. It's just whether they actually are able to acknowledge it or know that, which usually a lot of times they don't. Because I think so. It turned into anarchist Nicholas. I mean, she'd still be an anarchist. Just kind of one where, she has to. It's basically just kind of a more niche slash like kind of a variation of anarchism. It's pretty much what it is. So she still would be. I don't know if you've ever seen any of this shit before, but this stuff is fire. It's made mango. It's basically just minimal water, but it basically tastes like a fizzy Fanta orange soda. But it's mineral water. Do you have BDE? BDE? I have Orange Liquid Death? I haven't tried the orange one yet. I've tried Liquid Death, with their like kind of lime water, but which is pretty good. Oh, Big Dick Energy. Well, yeah, I tend to kind of have a little natural suave with that, I would think. Especially at the bar I go to, it's at a point where it's just like, I mean, I'm pretty much will randomly just have people be like, "Hey, what's up?" or just like pop by and chat with me and shit. So I just felt a little bad because one of the dudes I thought was outside. I was like, I haven't seen him in a while, and I was like, yeah. So, oh, what's your dog's name again? I was like, oh, Zukov. And he kind of looked at me, and I was like, I repeated it. And then he just kind of stared at me still. It's like, you don't remember, do you? I was like, yeah, Todd. Yeah. I haven't seen you in a while. I was about to ask that, like, so, yeah, what's up? But yeah, and he was, I think he kind of looked like, oh, he kind of had this look of like, oh no. And I'm just like, I didn't forget you. It's just work is stressful. So my energy is just like, beeline to get drink, sign up, all that shit. But at least for Friday, I know it's going to be kind of a banger. For next Friday, at least. Going to be moving very soon. Yeah, isn't it like, what, at the end of the month? So, pretty much almost there for all intents and purposes. Might be sooner than planned. Oh, yeah. Okay, what the fuck? Is it just a scab or is there like some sheet in here? What the fuck? What the hell is this nonsense? This is a really annoying scab. Lovely. Lovely. Just because just waiting until she has the apartment away is studio after all. And and I imagine, I mean, it's a studio apartment. It's not going to be like that big of a massive, like, move or feat to deal with or anything. Man, I should have had a coffee today. I was kind of debating on grabbing one before I went on lunch, but I was just like, you know what? It's a little late in the day. What about, is it flooding again? Well, if it rains, especially pretty significantly, then yeah, that would probably be an issue. But freaking apartment half-assed the repairs because fucking landlords, dude. Like, let's half-ass shit and basically just like do it the cheapest way possible so we can squeeze more money out of our tenants and not have to actually like I don't know, invest in things that make living just that much more comfortable, or at least because it should be. Like, cause like shit like that should honestly, frankly, just straight up be like full on fucking illegal. It's like there needs to be a basic standard where like, I don't know, like at least every like 5 to 10 years, like or at least maybe in between people, moving, at least especially when it comes to apartments, there needs to at least be like a bare minimal like, requirement of like how much is spent on, retrofitting or at least, repair and shit. Especially if there happens to be genuine damage, like, where things might fucking leak. So it's one of those things where it's like there needs to be a fucking standard of that shit. I know at least in like Oregon, there's some laws to kind of help protect that, but it doesn't stop landlords or real estate companies from skimping on that shit anyway. They just know that like paying the fines off and all that shit is just more cost effective, to them at least. Like when it comes down to that type of shit. Better than here in Bama. Better here than Alabama. Alabama has nothing. Yeah. I mean, it's Alabama, for fuck's sake. Here we have a tenants union. Fuck yeah. Yeah, Portland's got them too. Which I didn't even know existed until like, it's like into like, really getting into like the union shit and stuff. Because, it took me a little minute, because it's like as I was hearing about like these evictions and shit like that, especially with COVID, I was like, and I was thinking in my mind, it's like, is there like a union version for these things? And lo and behold, look it up and it's like, oh shit. Yeah, there is. In fact, it's actually a somewhat popular thing too. Because if I had a, rent out, especially if it's like an apartment or some shit, I'm making sure it's one that has something like that. Because to me, shit like that's fucking worth it. Presidents, I'm assuming you meant residents. Called the presidential union. Oh, you actually mean president? I mean, yeah, it's called, like leading the people kind of thing. Leading the nation and state. That's the union they're a part of. The union of the nation. It stiffs him. Trump gets to fine his union lawyers. Well, he doesn't even need like any of that because he's already stiffened his own lawyers to shit outside of like the last like 2 or 3 of them that have stuck around for some reason. Which I guess at this point, might as well, because then you're known for like, yeah, I was there, during the thick of it all. Could write a book about it or some shit. So honestly, I bet that's where some of these lawyers that are still with Trump are, hedging their bet on. It's like I could, honestly, I think I can fucking like, make money off this. Be an insider, dude. I don't think Trump's not anymore. Now it's a coin flip. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely a pretty contested race again. And honestly, all in all, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Tim Walz, have any speeches and shit, but frankly, I'm like more inspired by his ass more than anything now at this point. Which frankly was, legit probably the best pick for a Veep. That's for sure. I just want to see what, like what other shit, she's going to be capable of when it comes to her advocacy and her policies and like what she's going to be pushing. Because I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like outright like, yep, let's climb up the coconut tree kind of thing or whatever the fuck. Like, not quite yet. Though but I will say I'm pretty much just like, I'm pretty, I feel like, all in all, it's a pretty, solid outcome that would happen, especially down ballot too. And with Tim Walz too, I mean, he's just like a genuinely like, naturally like a really good speaker. And does it off the cuff. Like he has his outline of shit that, he talks about, and all that. Has just like his little outlines of shit, but he never makes it, like choreographed really. Like he has his outline and then he just remembers those pieces of, of the outline and he just goes from there. It just kind of fucking wings it, which like is way more natural, in comparison to like any other politician I've seen. And also like he's a dude that is even like declined, taking a salary bump as well. And it's just like, all right. It's like, oh shit. Could have given himself a raise, but it's like, nah. Imagine if Trump stepped down and let Vance be the nom. Frankly, that would be the biggest mind fuck in America. Because, like, that would essentially literally tank the Republicans for one, and for two, like, it would be such a mind fuck because why would Trump do that? Like, if he were to do that, which would literally never happen, like, there's no universe in the world where that happens. Like, I mean, but let's just say, I mean, it's like, it would probably just mind fuck people. And it just caused, the Republican Party to just kind of go into full disarray. Like, legit. But I suppose, like, it weirdly enough might help boost, like, some of these other, third parties, like the Green Party and Libertarians and shit, weirdly enough. So I suppose, like, silver lining to it, obviously. But it's one of those things where his ego will never let such a thing happen. So it's like it's impossible for him. Man, I wish I had at least some fucking background music in. God damn it. Forgot to do that, boo. I'm also kind of disillusioned with the Greens. They never run for anything but president. I mean, not here. In Oregon, they run in down ballot. Maybe not for Congress or anything like that, but at least in like local county positions and shit. Yeah. I mean, they kind of are, neutered because it's a fucking close primary state, but they tend to, collaborate with like Democrats and, with some other smaller parties and shit when it comes to like, trying to get their candidates out there. So, I mean, it's really just depends on the state because like some states they actually have at least a little something going on, and then others just have fuck all. So pretty much all they can do really is just like run a presidential candidate, with the National Green Party and just say go with that and say fuck it basically because they don't really have much of a choice, at least for now. I mean, it just kind of depends on which state you're in, I guess. I'm sure, like in New Mexico, they probably don't really have much going on over there. But at least up here in Portland, or just in Oregon in general, that I mean, they're definitely a thing. Honestly, they probably would be a little bit, more of an influence or have at least a little more sway if it was an open primary state. But even, albeit probably not by much. But I do think, it'd be one of those things where they could. Let the feeling the juice run out freshly. What the fuck, dude? What's up, Husky? What's up? Actually, just cashing out the last little bit of my bowl here in a bit. Then heading back to work. And then we'll be back after work and all that shit. Woo! But yeah, just talking kind of scuttlebutt of politics the last like weekend. Vance being a fucking weirdo. And I think, unironically, kind of a cuckold. I think he actually might be one. With how, like, he's talked up Trump talking about his wife. It's so weird. Like, he is, like, genuinely. I don't even mean that as just a meme. I mean, like, just, it was awkward. It was just, I don't even know. Then Biden, like, decided to kind of like wheel his ass out there one more time for the public for some reason to get Glaze Sesh and be like, I'm still here, Jake. Remember me? It's like we're trying not to remember you. Oh my goodness fucking gracious. Just a little more fucking. Look. See, so trust me, Paul, this is a show game. So yeah, it definitely is. I mean, in a lot of ways. It's kind of why I am more of like a direct action kind of guy. I mean, it can be fun to talk about and all that shit, but so I tend to be, more of like the direct action, like union general strike kind of guy and stuff, or at least, applying pressure from the outside instead of from the inside. Because it seems like that tends to have a little bit more, influence on putting pressure and at least changing things a little bit. It's better than just like, going out and being like, well, just vote for this, my guy, and just call it good. I mean, well, I will say at least it seems like, the Dems, at least the concurrent administrate, or at least the current campaigns, at least, seeming like they at least understand the idea of being, willing to at least listen instead of just being like, nah, you're just going to accept it and vote for us. Fuck up. No, shut up. It's like, shut the fuck up. You should vote for us and you'll accept it and love it. But now it's at least, a little more than just that. I feel like it's not just like, oh, you just gotta vote for us and accept it. Now it's like, hey, we actually got stuff. Hey, this guy's cool. This ball is pretty dope. So it seems like they're kind of at least starting to understand it a little bit. Better late than never, I guess. But I'm also going to be a little cautious about it. But hey, I think we have every right to at least be a little lived up because, between like Trump and Biden, that would have been the biggest disaster. Or smoky, less ranty. Well, it's going to be less smoky and less ranty, and then more worky for me. So. Yeah, the big bad bill somehow. I'm just glad I'm almost done with this walkthrough bullshit. It's ridiculous, but at least got good and got back when I get off work and all that shit. Got like what? Yeah, another 4 hours some shit. Woo! But anyway, I'll be safe for now and see y'all in the next one. So, toodaloo, blah, blah, blah. Rolling joint, hell yeah, nice.